What's a stat padder? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't call Russell Westbrook a stat padder. I wouldn't call Nikola Jokic a stat padder. I wouldn't call James Harden a stat padder. These are some of the greatest players ever. But sometimes the greatest players of all time can be stat padders. Okay, one question. Who has the most MVPs of all time? Easy answer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6. Next, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, 5. Easy answer. Then it's LeBron James and Wilt Chamberlain. Once again, pretty easy. Then you get a lot of people on 3. You have Larry Bird, a player we talk about as one of the greatest of all time. You have Magic Johnson, another player you talk about as one of the greatest of all time. Then you have Moses Malone. Now, Moses Malone is one of the greatest rebounders we have ever seen play basketball. Of course, we're not talking about Goliath numbers, like 20 rebounds per game constantly, but the offensive boards, we have never seen anything like it. The only player in the NBA to have 5+ offensive rebounds across his career in the playoffs and the regular season. That's nothing to be scoffed at. But he was a stat padder. Simple as. Now, the definition of stat padder is a tricky one. I would say it's a person who looks into their own stats and pads their stats for their benefit rather than the benefit of their team. So you can ask the question, if a stat padder wins, is he a stat padder? Yes, in my opinion he is. Now let's look at the 10 people with the most MVPs all time in NBA history. Now let's look at how many assists each of these players have. Of course, you can get rid of all the guards. Cool, you happy? Moses Malone is right at the very bottom. To average under 2 assists per game, no matter what position you are, is abhorrent. That's disgusting, that's vile. Like, even Kareem averages more than 2 assists per game. 1.4 assists for Moses Malone. But he knew it as, I'm a center, I will get my own. And he even used to say, I will note, he has said that he used to miss layups just to put them back up again. Does that make him a bad player? No. Does that make him a stat padder? Probably. But let's not forget, he won a championship in 1983 against the Los Angeles Lakers. This is Kareem and Magic's Los Angeles Lakers. This is the Showtime Lakers. This is Jamal Wilkes, James Worthy, injured this season, but still one of the greatest teams we have ever seen. But he had Julius Erving. He wasn't by himself, and this was a league where if you have 2 stars, you have the chance to compete. And compete they did. But I will note, in the closeout game, 20-20 game to close out the NBA Finals, sweeping the Showtime Lakers. But only 1 assist, and 40% shooting from the field as a center is ridiculous, if we're being honest. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Moses Malone isn't one of the greatest of all time. But I will tell you, Moses Malone is a clear indication that stats don't mean everything. He's a winner, but is he a winner?